Good morning, this is Ryan Littlestone from forexflow.live. We're starting off this week with another round of virus cases coming into the mix. We're hearing that China has had an increase in cases in Beijing, spreading between the food markets, and they're starting to shut things down again. Singapore this morning had a few cases as well, some 200. And also the US, we're hearing that they've had their highest cases in certain states, and it's the virus message is really coming back into the fore as we start the early part of the week. Also, what we've got is a little bit of more tensions between China and Australia, with the Chinese putting someone on a death sentence for drug smuggling, completely unrelated apparently, but still it's all part of the risk picture that we've seen this morning. We've seen risk suffer because of it. Now, one of the pairs I was looking at last week was cable, and this was because of the reopening thing that we were talking about, but also the Brexit thing coming into things as well. We had the negotiations last week, another stalemate, more comments from Barnier as he addressed Parliament, just re-emphasising that stalemate. And the pound has suffered because of it, partly on that, partly on the risk picture. Now, if we're looking at cable, pound versus the dollar, we saw we got that big run up. You know, it was a hefty run up to the 128 level, just over 128. We broke up through some key resistance areas there, around about 127, 70, 75. Now, these were levels I was looking at for a potential short, and I had a short around 128. It was more of a scalp, and I had a bit, made a bit, gave a bit back. It was a bit uncertain because it was such a strong looking rally. I didn't really want to get in on the longer term trade. And of course, now we've seen it's turned right around on this risk picture, and we've come all the way back down to the mid 124s. So it's really turned around, and today we've got the meeting between Boris and von der Leyen of the EU. The market's been building it up a little bit, but it's not really much of anything because she's not really she's like Juncker, Juncker. She doesn't really have a say in things. It's the EU states who make the decisions. It's Barnier who leads the negotiations. So what we're expecting is just a little bit of same old, same old. This is the EU's position versus what Boris says about this is the UK's position. But we know that that's all been kicked pretty much to the autumn now, with Barnier saying that the thin end of the wedge is going to be in the autumn, when negotiations really need to be done by. So again, for the pound, we're probably going to sit in a little bit of a no-go zone. We're going to be up, we're going to be down on this risk picture. But another chart I want to look at, before we jump to that chart, just back to this cable chart. If you're looking from a technical basis, I've got a level here around about the low 124s, 124.07. We've got the 55 daily moving average there. We've also got the 200 4-hour moving average there, and a trend line. So as we can see from that chart, if you're looking for a technical area of support, that's one place to look. So if we jump to the next chart, which is the euro versus the pound, it all ties up together with the other pound charts. We've got a high level up here around 90.50. That's been a big resistance area, going back historically as well. And we're back into the 90s again this morning, and so we're looking just to see if we're going to get a break up here. If we do get a break above this level, then we're going to potentially see a push higher, maybe up to the 91s again. So it really is a key point up here. It's one of those levels I may possibly look for a short, just to test the level, but then I may look to reverse that into a long if we break. So again, look for the headlines today. I'm not expecting big headlines from Boris and von der Leyen, more just a reiteration of various positions, but we know the algos like to make a meal of things, and we know that they like to jump on even old headlines and stuff we already know. So those are sort of areas I'm looking at. Support-wise, it's really down towards the mid 88s where we've got the real big line there. So that's the area of support if we do get any big headlines. And as usual, just play between the ranges, and if you get a break, then try to go with it. And stay safe this week. Thank you very much, folks.